Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Ratitude Podcast. And once again, I have an amazing guest that's going to join us today. His name is Lightning Rod Moore. Rod, welcome, welcome. I know that you have an incredible sports background. And as soon as I heard that, I knew someone must have termed you the Lightning Rod Man, huh?
That's right. You were the first one to do it, and I am super excited to be on the show.
Oh, good, good, good. Well, I know that you were destined to become the Michael Jordan, the next Michael Jordan, and then were sidelined by an injury. That happens to a lot of people. It happened to me too. Tell us a little bit about that, because it requires a lot of resilience to
Yeah,
come back from something like that.
that's right. So I definitely strove to be like Mike, really like Kobe. Yeah, like Kobe.
Okay,
He
all right,
was
that's
my
right. You're a young guy still.
favorite. So that's for sure. But really, I started playing basketball at the age of 4. I just fell in love with it. My dad. He brought me a ball, and he would just see me going around the house. I got into sports. I always been short. I'm like 5'7" on a good day, right? So vertically challenged. But basketball was my deal. In first grade, I was playing on the fifth grade team, and I was always playing above. The last time I tried out for a team, because I went to the same school, was middle school. So I made the seventh grade team. I never had to try it again. So going through sports, doing really well, had dreams and hopes of course, going pro, put in a lot of hours, put in a lot of practice, and coming up into my senior year, it's preseason. My coach, before we would actually start play, he would bring in some college players or people he played with. He was a few years older than us to help scrimmage. So at this point, I'm going, it's doing well. I had a bit of a mouth on me, so I'm going back and forth with the other players. And then the tragic thing happened. Steal the ball, go down the court, jump for a pass, shoved in the back. Ouch. Fractured my ankle. Thought it was definitely seasoned. Didn't think much of it. Actually, I just thought I rolled it because I've, messed my ankle up a lot. And the big thing that I recognized once I realized I broke my ankle, I was like, wow. At this point, I've have a few offers on the table. I had a few people just, pretty interested in me, and it snaps, and pretty much all this goes away. And I get to play my senior season, but I had to play injured. And people realized that I just got hurt. So on top of me being short, I'm injured. So it took away a lot of my chances. But what I realized going through therapy is a lot of times when you get injured, right, especially a leg injury, what do the doctors usually give you? A crutch, right? And I recognized going through therapy, and then as it started my adult life and career, a lot of us have crutches that we use for our life and our business. So I think that sports, I think that business, I think that life, they totally correlate. So to get super disciplined to, lose 20 pounds or to gain weight, it's some things that have to take place, but it's the same thing that's in our life and also, within our business. So that's just a little bit about me and how I actually hurt myself.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that. But now you're an incredible salesperson, an entrepreneur, a branding expert, you're former gym owner, business owner. You've done a lot of cool things in your life, and you're still a young guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had to really transition. But one of the things that caught my ear that you said is you had a mouth on you. I assume that that is trash talking stuff, but I'm also guessing that mouth on you has served you very well in your sales career, in your entrepreneurial career, in your branding career to make you just the outstanding young man that you are.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and I did definitely mean trash talking. I also remember uh, being told to shut up in class, right? I remember being told to I would not talk. The most thing that I got in trouble with growing up was really one, doing just enough to get by. I recognized quickly that I probably could outthink people, not everybody, but majority of people, and I could just figure out do enough to get by. I got in trouble for that a lot, and also I would call it pushing back. So challenging authority, or just because you told me to do something, that don't mean I'm just going to go with it. But as I continued to go through my career, that actually served me really well because I started to question things. I want question things of how I was raised, how I was brought up, but also question people and able to help them internally transform themselves. Because a lot of times we don't ask ourselves the right questions. So it started in the gym, and that's kind of how I got into the gym business. It was gym and fitness, and I realized as I'm on the floor, hey, these people have a lot more to them than just really what meets the eye. And what separated me, especially since I was a lot younger, I'm 30 now. I look young. I was 20 when I started training, or maybe younger. So I'm 20, and to capture the attention of these, people, middle age, even older, even seniors, I pushed back and I challenged and I asked them very hard questions. And that kind of really started my career when it came to fitness.
Now, what kind of community did you grow up in?
Lower middle class. So I had two-parent household, really great. Parents loved me, never went without a meal. But they were learning as well. So, it was great. I don't have like the rags to riches story, but it was really great. Very supportive family, and they challenged me as well. Actually, I learned it from my mom. She framed it from a doctor's perspective. She's like, Rod, every time you go to the doctor, just because they tell you something, that don't mean you have to do it. You challenge. But I kind of took that, and anybody, if it didn't make sense to me or I didn't understand, I just wanted to know.
What city or state were you in?
I was born in San Diego, California, but I was raised in Birmingham, Alabama. So we moved here when I was about 8 years old. My mom was in the military, but both of them are from here, and we moved back for a family emergency. Actually, both of my parents' mothers were sick. Actually, my mom was terminally ill, so that's why we moved back.
So Birmingham, Alabama, I mean, that is kind of famous in the civil rights movement. And
Absolutely.
you're a young guy, so it's kind of beyond all of that. But how was it growing up there? What was the culture like? What was the environment like?
It's really cool. I actually attend the 16th Street Baptist Church. So that's really famous in the civil rights. It's a church I still attend to today. So, but growing up in the community, we're actually very famous on the TV show First 48, if you're familiar with that. So, if you're not familiar with First 48, then it's a TV show basically about cops solving a homicide within the first 48 hours. So
Okay.
Birmingham, the city of Birmingham, it ranks in the top 5 every year for violence. It also shows up there. So yeah, I'm from here, been a part of it, lost a lot of family members due to gun violence and health related issues. The normal it's in the South, so it's still, very loving. You can go knock on your neighbor's door, ask for sugar and ketchup. They speak to you, that type of deal. Not really like up north.
They don't give you sugar and ketchup up north?
No, they're not you're not going to the neighbor's door from what I hear. They're not even speaking to you.
So you grew up in that environment, and it's interesting because I grew up in Las Vegas, and I tell the story. There's a reason it was called Sin City. By third grade, all my friends were into drugs and alcohol. By fourth grade, sex parties started. By fifth grade, my first friend died of an overdose. It was a tough place to grow up for a kid that wasn't involved with that. How was it for you growing up?
I didn't really think too much of it as far as being tough. I just thought it was normal until I started getting older or traveling. And I would say like, hey, my friend got, or somebody I knew, got shot today, or, somebody died from a drug overdose, or the house got robbed. And people would start looking at me like, you just say it like it's so normal. And I'm like, it's very normal, at least from, where I am. So I think initially, as I was growing up through it, I didn't think it was really tough, but I had to start to do some, therapy and inner work to start to, I don't know the right word for it, but, just questioning some of my beliefs around it. So, my parents did a really good job of, keeping us busy so we didn't get part of it. So I stayed in sports or, extracurricular activities, and, they were very loving. My dad was really hard. He was just dead set on making sure that his kids, didn't end up going that route as long as he could, actually prevent it if he could.
Okay, did you go to college?
I did, and I dropped out the second semester. So I went to Shelton State. It's a community college in the same city as the University of Alabama. So when I fractured my ankle, I wanted to stay around sports. So I figured I would be a physical therapist. So I'm starting to go to a physical therapy school. I was going to go to a PTA school first, physical therapy assistant. That's why I went that route. I'm going through I'm getting started in the program, and I met a physical therapist in the first network marketing company that I joined. So the physical
Oh,
therapist, yeah, physical therapist, we were really tight. And, he told me a lot of things. He did all the things, at least from what I wanted to do. He was a professional athlete, played in NFL. His family owned a construction company in Mississippi. He was a doctor, doing well. He's married, all these things. And then one thing he told me was like, "Hey, Rod, I'm a physical therapist." And he asked me, "Why do you want to be there?" I was like, "I want to stay around sports and I want to, get to make six figures." And he said, "Okay, well, I got to be honest with you. If you want to make six figures as a physical therapist, you either have to own your own practice or you probably have to do home health where you be out in the field a lot. And you have to do a lot of paperwork." And at that point, that's where he lost me. I don't know if that was true. I really didn't even follow up on it. But he told me that, and he followed that up by saying, "Rod, one thing I would tell you to do is learn how to sell." And that's really where everything started. So he told me to do that. And I go through network marketing and also the gym business, just kind of learning that process. Never made money with network marketing, but I did learn a lot. I learned,
yeah.
started to find my voice. I started to get practice in sales. I started to build my own personal brand, and I really started to connect with people that were not like the people that I grew up with. Right. So it just started to shape my mindset. And that's how I led to the gym business. And through the gym business, because a lot of people in Alabama, Mississippi, the top two states with obese people, we started to really, help people lose weight. But as I'm helping people lose weight, I'm realizing, hey, it's not just X's and O's, meaning it's not just move move more and eat less. It's some internal things, some mindset things that these people have to really work through to be able to become that person. So it's like identity shifts and things like that that we all started to learn.
With the MLM world, they do a lot of training there, obviously. And it sounds like you've gotten some mindset training. What kind of training? What's your experience with that? Or what's your background around addressing that mindset that is so critical, as you pointed out?
Realize that mindset is first. And you're right. That's the first thing they drilled into me. And it went through, I've done some professional trainings, but I've always found or attracted a few people that were a little bit further than me, or maybe even just in years, that I would call them an accountability partner when it comes to mindset. And what that would look like starting off, it started off with daily phone calls. So my first client would be at 5 a.m. It's a guy named Ernest Ross. He taught me the gym business. He had a gym as well, but he was an hour ahead of me. On the way to the gym, he would call me every morning without fail for easily 3 years. And it started off with making sure the mindset was right, and then just structuring things through, being a young man and going through business. So that transpired to me. I started to like it, and I was like, hey, let me go to more of these meetings in network marketing. So it started local, then regional to national. And as I started to get connected with more people, they started dropping names. So I would start going to conferences, 10X with Grant Cardone, anybody that we could think about. Les Brown, I listened to a lot, especially in the early days. Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, those were my four people. And it was to university for a while. And then at some point, in the gym business, my first year in the business, I had it with a partner and we split. And after we split, I immediately invested the rest of the money that I had into a coach. And I thought I was getting coached on fitness, but he gave me two deliverables and 90% was all on my mindset. And from there, I just never stopped.
So, what were those two deliverables?
Two deliverables. One of the deliverables was a pretty much a bootstrap, meaning a way to go get quick cash. He gave me a system to get quick cash in the gym business. The second deliverable he gave me was a sales training. So we had a weekly, like it was an on demand, and then he would hop on and role play with me. We did that for about 8 weeks.
So one of the things that I'm challenged with is sales. I'm not designed that way to ask people for money. Although even as I say that, I'm thinking when I was coaching in college, I had to be a salesperson in recruiting kids to come, especially because we didn't have scholarships. And I became pretty good at that. And so even as I'm asking the question or formulating the question, I'm kind of changing my mind about it. But I truly have come to believe more and more that sales training is important for whatever you're doing in life, and not just typical salesperson that may have at least I think in my connotations, a bad feeling. I'm sure it came from my parents that there must have been some pushy door-to-door salesman that came in. I'm sure my mom just slammed the door on them and said some things, and it kind of got into my subconscious. What kind of advice would you give people that in their job, they need to sell, but they have a hard time selling?
Great question, Robert. And I would pretty much address how you kind of ended off. You have to think of the reason why you feel that way. But the actual advice, I look at sales as influence and really just connecting, right? So if you genuinely are interested in people, you connect with them well. You can get trained on them. Pretty sure you have a lot of training with it, but it's very authentic if you actually care. If you care, then it just comes across. You don't have to really train on it. And the second thing I will look at is the service. So if you connect with people and you serve people, then a part of sales that really goes with everyday life is just really learning how to connect and communicate with people in all walks of life, no matter what you do. When you go into the store, when you're with your kids, you want to influence them, you want to connect with them, you want to find out a way to serve them. And that's pretty much the base of how I look at sales. And even like my style or my philosophy is similar to, maybe like a doctor in a sense, meaning they come, they, ask you questions, and then from there, if it makes sense, they prescribe the right thing for you. So that's my thing. If you don't want it, I'm not going to sell it to you. Don't It doesn't even make sense, right? Well, I take that back. Not if you don't want it, if it's not a good fit for you.
What's the highest ticket item that you've sold in your lifetime?
Definitely in the six-figure mark. I don't remember the exact number, but definitely in the six-figure mark.
What was it? I mean, like, were you passionate about it?
Yeah, so pretty much what it was, I helped my friend. I take it back, and I actually should have got something for this. It was I helped my friend sell off his company. So it was a seven-figure deal for him, and I just thought about it. It was a seven-figure deal for him. But currently, what I'm selling, that's how I met you with Paul Getter, and the highest tier package he has. Well, not the highest tier, but the main one that we're selling right now is at 100K, and it's a marketing package along with helping people get on stage to speak. On top of getting people PR, that's what I'm consistently selling right now at 100K. My friend, he saw it was a agency, and I can't. He needed some help. He was afraid to ask for the offer, and they was haggling. So I came in and helped him. Just kind of negotiated, and I was like, the biggest thing was it needed to be a right fit, and I told him you need to be okay to walk away, and that was really it. We ate, we sat down, we ate, and he didn't like the number, so I said let's leave. And he's like, was that a tactic? I was like, no, you don't like the numbers. It's not a tactic. You just don't like the number. Circled back maybe a few months later, and he gave another number, and we went back in. He accepted the deal. This was in 2019, 2019.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And were you passionate about that, or you were passionate about helping your friend?
I was just passionate about helping my friend.
I got you. And now these packages you're putting together for 100,000, are you passionate about that? Or are you passionate about just helping a friend?
No, I'm actually really passionate about it. I've been in the space of coaching for a while, and a lot of people I've met, they don't really deliver. And one thing I've noticed, I've seen that people's lives actually can change and they can transform. And that's at the center of who I am. So one, yes, it started off with me helping a friend, but then I started to see how people's lives are actually being transformed. Just on a lot of different scales, whether it's something personally, professionally, even their brands, coming up. So I think for me, it has to be something one that I definitely believe in, or internally, I will not be able to have the conviction to actually, offer the service. So with this, what we're offering, I like my friend and I like that we're helping people.
And in your future, Rod, what's your vision? What do you want to do in your life? What's your dreams?
I don't know that yet. So what I do know is I want to continue to serve people and I want to continue to help people. In what fashion? I'm not quite sure. But what I'm doing right now, I'm living in my purpose. So whatever that transforms to next, that's great.
Do you have dreams?
Living my dreams. I'm free of time, free of location. I get to travel. I get to hang out. Get to help people. That's at the core of who I am. Do I want to do that at a larger scale? Sure.
And do you have a family?
I don't have a family yet. Do not have a
Okay.
family yet. Yeah.
Is that part of your dream?
Yeah. So you're right. I'm not. That's the part of the dream I'm not living yet. So at some point, I definitely would love to have a family, a wife, and kids, and just working through that now, making sure I find the right people or right person, not people. Some people marry multiple people, the right person.
Well, in our audience, we have a lot of women, and some of them are single women. So what are you looking for, Rod?
All right, I'm looking for.
This is your opportunity, Rod. This is your opportunity. As a salesperson, man, give us your best shot here because there's people from all over the world. Listen, we're number 4 in Argentina. We're number 10 in Romania. Not that you're going to go there, but it just indicates how wide reach the Ratitude podcast has become. So give us your best shot here, Rod.
That's awesome, man. I may disappoint you here. I'm pretty much looking for who's looking for me, right? It has to be a good fit. And these are 3 things that I care about. Care about you being ethical person, a truthful person. I care about you actually wanting to be together meaning like become one and do what it takes to do that. And the last thing that I care about is I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and I would like for you to be the same. Those are my 3 things. Other than that, I would just love to get to connect and get to know people.
It's interesting because even as you were saying that, I reflected back to about a year ago. I was on a sailboat trip in Italy around Sicily, and I met a guy named Anil Gupta, and he's called the Dr. Love in the Tony Robbins world.
I like it.
And so we're on the sailboat for like a week. So I got to talk to him quite a bit. And he said, it was so interesting. He said that most people make this mistake in relationships is that they meet someone and, the physical attractiveness or their aura or whatever, they just connect and they say yes right away. Like this is the person. And I think men are more guilty than women are of this, but they say yes. And it's a yes until it becomes a no. And he said, what you need to do actually is do the opposite. You have to say no, 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 until it becomes a yes. And then it just stays a yes, but it's the opposite way of thinking. And it's so interesting because I reflect back, I think I'm guilty of that, of saying yes. And then you discover more and more about the partner relationship and go, in that romantic phase, you don't see all those things. They're kind of cute. And then you get past that and all of a sudden you go, that's not so cute anymore. So that's an interesting thing I heard. The other thing there are 2 other things I want to share with you and our audience, because maybe that's where we're going now, is that he said there's 3 things that are important. One is, are they ethical? And you said that.
Yes.
The second one he said was, are they loving? And loving toward themselves, toward you, and what he said was towards children. So children was important to him. So like in your case, you brought Jesus Christ. It would be, are they loving toward Jesus Christ?
Okay. Yep.
And then the third thing was, are they healthy? So you might consider that. By healthy, it was physically healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, whatever else, healthy ways, mindfully healthy, just are they healthy? Those were his criteria. But then he said is during this no, no, no phase that you ought to treat them, rather than like romantic dates, they ought to be an interview process. So you think about what's important to you and you ask the question. So you ask them about, what's their maybe, biggest ethical blunder or, whatever. Figure out how you could ask the question around that. You can ask them about their faith. You can ask them about, you mentioned that you wanted to have a family with kids. You can ask them that early on instead of dating for a while and you find out, oh, this woman that I'm dating, she didn't want to have kids. And then you have, there's not maybe a good fit if that's important to you. So that's the advice that he had is no, no, no until it becomes a yes. During that no, no, no phase, conduct research, collect data.
Okay.
So it's a data collection process. And we oftentimes don't do that because we're so caught up in, yes, 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 is the most beautiful girl in the world kind of thing. Obviously, they don't have any faults until they do, because we
That's right.
all do, right?
That's
We
right.
all do. So it's interesting that that we've kind of progressed to that, because you asked me before, what are we going to talk about? And I said, I'm not sure. We're going to have just a great conversation because you're a great young man and I want to hear what you're thinking. And we've talked about this before, that you'd like to have that kind of relationship. And it's I'm going to kind of shamelessly plug that we're going to do an event called the Love Hack,
There we go.
October 12th in Naples, Florida,
Yeah.
and then December 7th in Los Angeles,
Mhm.
California, that we
Mm.
haven't announced yet, but we
Yeah,
decided
first
we're
in
going
my
to do
mind, yeah.
that, where we're going to talk about these things. We're going to help people like Rod and like you, the audience, that maybe isn't in a relationship and that wants to be, or maybe you are in a relationship and you want to rekindle that romantic fire, or kind of wherever people are. But we're going to blend neuroscience and tantra. We're calling it neurotantra. And I know you're going to be a big part of this. You're going to be part of our sales team, Rod, because you're an incredible man, and you know how to connect to people, and we love that. But we're really excited about that, and the team that you are part of and bring to make the Love Hack and our sacred journeys just amazing. I thank you for that in advance.
But I'm super excited about the event. I will definitely be there in Naples, and I hope all of the audience, if you can, you come out, and also in Los Angeles.
I've asked you this question. I'm going to ask it again, Rod. Do you have an offer?
No, I personally do not have an offer.
Okay, so why not? You know how to teach people how to sell. You know how to help people create a personal brand. You know how to run gyms. You know how to do a lot of things. So tell us about that.
The reason why not now is mere so for effective focus, right? So really focus on the thing I'm doing now, currently, and once the everything is in place to where I have a bit more time, then I could focus on doing my own offer and also getting the right people in place. Because being too scattered with your time, you just really don't get places from what I've, at least for me, being too scattered with my time. I believe people can do multiple things if they have great systems and great people in place. But doing it alone, not so much. So that's the reason why I currently do not have an offer.
Okay, so you brought up something really good, I think, a powerful, and that's focus. So you're a focused young man that wants to accomplish things. You're helping, an organization right now to create excellence and excellence in people, and it serves you. It serves your passion in helping people achieve their dreams.
That's right.
And I just hope that your dreams get clearer to you, that they materialize, and that you think about it so that you can move toward that when you're ready to.
That's right.
And I'm going to see you in about a week and a half in San Antonio. And I'm going to challenge you, Rod. I'm going to challenge you. First of all, I'm going to challenge you to step up and give a 5-minute speech if they will allow it. And I think that they would. I'd love to hear you speak in front of our audience. But
Yeah.
I'm also going to challenge you to share with me one dream. So like a 10-year dream. You don't
Okay.
have to focus on it. I just want you to think about it, because that's
Okay.
that's something that I help people do, is I help people dream. And then I think about how I can help their dreams come true. And I think you do that too. But oftentimes, we don't think about ourselves.
Right.
We're helping other people. And I think that we can help other people better, maybe, when we're also taking care of ourselves. And that's one of the things that I'm going to challenge you with. So you got 10 days to
I
come up
accept the
with.
challenge. And the
All
great thing,
right. All right.
that'll be 2 days before my birthday.
Okay. We're going to do a little short, before underwater birthday song for you.
Let's go.
You remember that?
Slightly. I remember. I
Okay.
don't remember the
It's
words.
we're not going to do it here. Well, maybe we'll do the first line.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done this to people all over the world, including 5-year-old orphans at an orphanage in Hungary, and then
Yep.
twin 90-year-old French people that were over here in Malibu at Pepperdine University looking at the 9/11 memorial. That I happened to meet them one day, and they told me it was their birthday, so I sang them this song, and it's called the Underwater Birthday Song. And I usually try to get groups of people together, and we're going to do this for you on whenever we're there. We're going to do it for you because it's kind of cool. And we're going to get all your friends together, get them to lick their lips, make sure their fingers clean, and then they hunch down. They go, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rod. Happy birthday to you. I guess I did the whole thing. Happy birthday in advance.
I love that.
But I'm going to get a group of people together to do that. Okay, Rod, do you have any final messages or thoughts that you want to share with our audience?
Continue to follow Robert anytime he invites you anywhere in person. Please go. Final thoughts from me: continue to follow your dreams. Continue to connect with people and continue to find and be yourself. Truly.
Rod, you're an amazing human being. It's such an honor and pleasure to have you here on our show and to develop this new friendship with you. And you're just the coolest dude I know. Lightning Rod,
There you go.
welcome and thank you for being on the Ratitude podcast.
Thank you so much.